As GLP-1 obesity drugs soar in popularity, companies are pioneering treatments to help patients shed pounds while trying to counteract the muscle loss that can occur alongside it. Among the players putting their hats in the ring is Biohaven. Preclinical animal testing of the company's experimental drug showed significant weight reduction coupled with lean mass gain. The treatment currently in phase 1 for obesity, with phase 2 trial projected to begin in the second quarter of this year. For more, we are joined by Biohaven CEO Dr. Vlad Coric. Dr. Coric, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on tonight, Melissa.
I mean, this is one of the biggest issues with GLP-1s. 20 to 50% of the weight loss is actually muscle mass. So your new drug is a myostatin inhibitor. Can you just, in layman's terms, describe how that works?
Sure. And you're exactly right. What we're trying to do is result in significant weight loss without losing muscle mass, which is what you see with the GLPs. And so Biohaven's approach is a drug called T-alpha, and it targets a molecule called myostatin. And myostatin regulates your muscle growth. And so by blocking myostatin, we believe T-alpha will increase lean muscle mass, increase your resting metabolism, and result in significant weight loss, and do so without the reduction in muscle mass that you see with GLPs.
So T-alpha is already in testing for spinal muscular dystrophy. What has the safety profile been there? You're already going to enter phase 3, I believe, in the second half of this year.
So we started our trials in muscular diseases, and there we have experience now with over 500 patients, and thus far a very clean safety profile, and we're waiting for our top-line data and SMA in the second half of this year.
In terms of phase 2, can you give us any idea of timing, and also describe to us what you hope to achieve here, since it sounds like you're going to be testing T-alpha alone, but also T-alpha combined with the GLP-1?
That's right. As you know, the GLPs have become the new standard of care for obesity. And what we want to demonstrate is that T-alpha can compete as monotherapy against the GLPs, but also we think there's an important synergistic role that we could play in conjunction with GLPs. So our phase 2 trial is set to start in the second half of this year. We'll look at T-alpha alone and T-alpha plus GLPs compared to GLPs alone. And we think that will really give us the data we need to understand what's the best way to advance this asset.
How much pressure do you feel in terms of getting the testing done and getting this to market? I mean, Eli Lilly, with its Versanis, is working on a similar myostatin inhibitor, which would be the answer to the drug that you are testing. And so I'm curious, how fierce is this competition for this particular weight loss treatment that combats that muscle loss?
Well, we're no stranger to taking on other big companies. As you recall, we had a migraine asset that we launched against AbbVie, and we became the #1 prescribed migraine asset. I think you have to follow the science, and the pressure comes off when you have a really good drug profile like T-alpha in the clinic thus far. And what we're seeing there is we're seeing nice differentiation in some very preliminary data. We're seeing increases in muscle mass. We're seeing decreases in fat. And if that translates to a positive phase 3 trial, I think the data will take the pressure off, and we'll have a nice differentiated product at the end of that phase 3 trial.
As I mentioned, one of your competitors is Versanis, which is a unit of Eli Lilly, because it just bought Versanis last year. So they'll have deep pockets. Do you have the cash to bring this to market when that time comes?
Yeah, by our last quarterly filing, we have over $300 million in cash on hand. We're well funded at this point in our research. But what's important is that we have a differentiation story even compared to the Versanis asset that you described. That asset blocks the receptor very robustly. And if you look at their data, they had 40% rates of muscle spasm and diarrhea. And that's not what we're seeing in our trials. We don't see those type of side effects in our preliminary data. So if that holds true, I think we'll have access to capital and be able to continue to develop this program.
$385.5 million exactly, to be exact, in terms of cash and cash equivalents. So congratulations. What do you think the revenue opportunity is, assuming everything goes favorably for this drug? What are you guys forecasting, if anything?
Well, I think this whole space, people are thinking could be valued at $100 to $150 billion in the obesity space in general. look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We need to see that phase 3 data that we're planning to launch in the second half of this year to really know how we'll differentiate from the competitors. Once we have that data, I'll be able to give you a more accurate assessment about, market size. But I think we all know obesity is a major health problem affecting 2 billion people worldwide. And so once we have our data, I look forward to answering that question.
Do you think T-alpha could, I know it's early, but could it replace or at least, gain some significant part of the market share that Novo and Lilly have in terms of their GLP-1s?
Look, I give a lot of credit to Novo and Lilly. They changed the paradigm in obesity. What's most impressive about their data is you get reductions in things like heart attack, stroke, diabetes, hypertension. It's going to have a meaningful impact in the obesity treatment for years to come. I think that we will have a very important drug here that could either act synergistically or alone. And once we have that data, I look forward to discussing how we'll differentiate in the marketplace. Until then, it's a little bit too soon to say how we'll shake out compared to the competitors.
Fair enough. Hope you'll come back and keep us posted. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Vlad Coric of Biohaven